G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map in the colour orange, playing as the Abbasid dynasty, we've got Janissary. Look at that beautiful zoom. Don't you love it? A little bit of a fat boy right there for you. And on the south side of the map in the colour pink, playing as the Ottomans, we've got sort of. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Highview. We're here watching two of the world's best players as they battle it out on the ranked ladder. If you're enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, I encourage you to leave a like. It definitely helps out with the traction of the videos. And let's talk a little bit about this matchup. Bit of a fun matchup. The Ottomans, in particular. A civilization that I really love. These guys got a change recently, which allowed their Sipahi to have a little bit more length on their attacks. Which, I'm curious to see whether we're going to see any kind of usage of that. By the same token, on the north side, there's been so many changes for the Abbasid dynasty recently. We've seen the meta just continues to evolve with them. We've seen military wing be popular. We've seen eco wing to a lesser extent. We've seen culture wing. We saw that Lucifron game where he went for a culture wing. There's so many options for you. So, realistically for Janissary, I'm not 100% sure what avenue he's going to go down. If there's one thing I know about Janissary, though, I would probably suspect it's military wing. I know that he loves his aggression. We've casted Janissary games before, and he has been a stickler for just getting in the enemy base and just really hurting you. So that's what I'm expecting to see. You will notice that I've still got a little bit of a sore nose, a sore throat. So if you do hear microphone mutes, or if you don't hear my voice for a little bit, I can assure you it's just me muting the microphone to do a cough or something like that. So apologies in advance for that inevitably happening. So let's talk about Highview. Now, Highview, it's one of those maps where you'd think that being open, it would necessitate relatively short games because you've got access to big raids that can happen and kill lots of villages, those sorts of things. But surprisingly, on a map like this, what actually happens is everybody plays very passively. And that's because stealth forests prevent you to have that easy transition towards the enemy base. You can see that to get to the enemy base, it's impossible to do it without entering into a stealth forest. And because of that, it's always very dangerous if you don't have line of sight. So players are reluctant to attack. But we now do see the first of the age ups coming in. It's going to be the Twin Minaret Madrasa here. No real surprise coming out from sort of there. I think most people just expect this landmark. We have seen a little bit of trade, but not a whole bunch of trade. And sort of now going to be throwing down a mining camp in the back of the base. So could be looking for a second TC back here, I would suspect. Alternatively, could be going for the military wing. But one thing to note is he never opened with the military wing, which is kind of almost standard in this matchup typically. Just from a historic perspective, there are so many ways that you can look to shut down the Abbasid dynasty. You can get spears out here, look to hit their gold, look to hit their stone. There's a lot of great options for you, and especially with front stones like this, it can be punished pretty easily. But we're right on board with Janissary now, as he's gone with the eco wing. So going to be going up with Old Faithful. So that kind of surprises me a little bit to see Janissary of all people opting for the eco wing. But take a look what we've got back home here. So just a couple of villages on gold. He's looking to go up. Let's see if he takes them off gold now, or whether he's going to look to continue adding onto it, because Fertile Crescent's going to cost him 75. I think he might be looking for the wheelbarrow. In which case, actually, does he go wheelbarrow here? Maybe he doesn't. I'm curious. I'm just going to watch. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to see what he does, because, yeah, okay, it is going to be the wheelbarrow. So definitely makes a fair bit of sense to go into that early on. But it's one of those cases where it's like, if you're going into eco wing, the main thing I think about when I'm going eco wing is like, I just want to get my TCs up ASAP. But I guess you're also playing against the Ottomans, so you do have to consider that there may be aggression coming out. Even though we don't see it yet, there is always that risk of it. Nice little sheep numbers building up as well for Janissary here. Keep in mind he's got access to the berries back home, so he doesn't need to bring these sheep back in. You can see he's got 5 sheep under the TC, but everybody else can stay out here because he's got berries that he can be going off. Age ups come through. The military wing nowhere in sight. It's going to be the eco wing today, and straight away we see him moving into Fertile Crescent and takes those villagers off the gold. So he's gone into wheelbarrow, he's gone into Fertile Crescent, and that's it. So we don't see fresh foodstuffs. We don't see anything else, and it's quite a heavy focus with a lot of villagers here on stone. So I could be thinking about going into a third TC. When I see this many vills on stone, makes me think maybe he's going into a second or a third TC, but it could also just be that's the flavor that he's going for with regard to his resource gathering. You can see that he's going to catch up pretty quickly though here to the wood, which really does make me think it might be a 3 TC play. But let's check in over with his opponent. Janissary actually spots out the first of the military schools, sees this and says, well, where's the spears? You were meant to attack me with spears, and that never happened. and doesn't see the military school in the front of the base either, but this is a bit of a slow roll coming in from sort of. Think of this as a snowball going down a hill, and he's only just starting the snowball right now. He's only just starting to push. Compare that to, say somebody who opens with a barracks or a stable, and they're going to be out of the gates very quickly. It's not the case here with the Ottomans. They're going to take some time to ramp up. We also see wheelbarrow coming through. And second town center is thrown down over on the wood line, which does indeed lead me to believe that we're going to have a third TC coming in, which does make a lot of sense here. I think if you're going into Eco Wing, you probably... I think if you're going to go for 2 TCs, right? Like if you're an Abbasid player and you're saying, I want to go for 2 town centers in this matchup, I don't think you need to go Eco Wing. You definitely don't need to anymore. Back in the day, it was just mandatory, but now it's like I can go military wing, I can defend early, I can go culture wing, I can bring the price of those techs down as well as my age up. Like, there's a lot of flexibility for this civilization now in those early wings, not to mention trade, but trade's a whole nother kettle of fish. So let's probably not talk too much about that. But second TC coming up now, third TC going to be well and truly on the way. You can see just how fast he's getting up this TC as well. Just after the 6-minute mark, it is coming up here. So going to be really happy with this food that's being brought back in. And now villagers rallying out over onto the wood line. You can see he's bringing them as close to the TC as he possibly can. Now let's check back in over with sort of. See how he's doing as the Sipahi are out. Scout takes a little bit of damage here. And the first of the Sipahi going to be moving towards the top side of the map. Nothing that he's going to find up there though. Maybe, I think, is that gold? Is he even moving up towards that position? Oh, yeah, somewhat. I mean, there's villagers here, but realistically, you're not going to be able to do too much with a single Sipahi. You might get a little bit of idle time. That's pretty much it. And now we got villagers moving down towards the south side of the map here, looking to probably hit this hunt, I'm suspecting. Obviously, this is the further hunt. He's got a closer one on the front side of his base, but obviously, it's a little bit weaker to go for this just because there's the chance that your enemy will look to hit you. Whereas in this situation, Kiljadi's well and truly spotted it, but it's going to take some time. And we do see it is the second TC that's coming down. I didn't even realize. I wasn't even paying attention to the resources. I'm too focused back on the Abbasid base. And we do see that third TC is coming down over on the hunt. So both players looking for those town center expansions on the hunts. Survival techniques now coming through for sort of as well. So making sure he's focusing on that eco. Blacksmith coming in. Did he really do this? Is this gonna... Are both of these blacksmiths, or are both of these military schools hit by the blacksmith on the corners? Because if they are, I just want to say, hats off to sort of for some amazing base building. I don't think I've ever thought about doing it this way, but I'm going to be genuinely impressed. I'm pretty sure it has. He's got it, doesn't he? And I think I should be fine on... Well, he should be fine on this side as well. He probably could have gone one tile out if he didn't have the house here, and then he could have had a ring of farms around the TC, but it's the small things, isn't it? And it looks like we've got influence. We've got influence. He hits it all. What an insane, well-played position from sort of, and great forward thinking. I know a lot of the times I'm playing as the Ottomans, I'm very linear in my thinking, and it's just like, I must build a giant square of my buildings, and that's it. And it's like, I'm always forcing myself to build that square, but he does a really good job here in just analyzing his base and positioning them on either side, so well played to him. So let's right on board with Kiljadi towards that top side. We can see a Sipahi up here did take a fair bit of damage. No villager kills just yet, though, so we didn't miss too much action. I don't see any low health vills in here either. Golden Age Tier 1 coming through, 8 minutes 40. A little bit late, but at the same time, I mean, you've gone for the 3 TCs. You've gone for that early wheelbarrow. I think if I was going to make one improvement to this build order, I would just avoid the early wheelbarrow. But I guess if you're up against the Ottomans, you kind of want it just for that extra little bit of movement speed. I think that's going to be your main thing. So now the horsemen going to come out. Going to be looking to try and deal with this pressure from sort of, and we'll be able to shut it down, at least for the moment. At the same time, back towards the enemy side, he continues to scout out exactly what's coming down. Sort of, we'll be looking at adding that third military school shortly. Keep in mind, when it comes to vizier points, I don't actually know what he's gone into. Did he go into sheep? He may have gone, I think he's gone into Anatolian hills here. It's definitely justified there. I mean, he could be looking for, there's no imams on the field. And there's no meta on the field, so it's got to be Anatolian hills that he's gone into, which makes sense. Now, it looks like he's going to be going Castle Age behind this, which to me just screams that we should have gone for imams. Like, don't get me wrong, it's nice having the extra food, and you can never really deny that, but there are other ways that you can get this, right? If we take a look here, I'm trying to remember, is it Control-Shift-A? Yeah, so we've got 4 sheep carcasses and 9, so he'd still have food under here, and he could always look to try and take the berries as well, but then that just kind of gives him a jump start on the relics, but I guess realistically, you've always got to be careful about that. But now, speaking of being careful, villager number 1 goes down for the game. And the camel is now out to try and defend this. Sipahi also loses its life. Was there a counterattack happening for Kiljadi? Why? Where is the cavalry that he had? It's not where it should be, or at least, I mean, I say where it should be, but it's cavalry, right? Like, it's pretty mobile, it's pretty quick. And unfortunately, he loses sight of the enemy. Scout now going to be coming down. He's got a lot of cavalry out here. How much are we talking? We're talking 8 horsemen already, so quite a bit. He's continuing to go for this cavalry composition of camels together with the horsemen. But Sipahi now going to be able to take out the first of the horsemen. Needs to fall back and enjoy the product of having, or enjoy having all of these extra horsemen coming through. And now we're talking, baby. That's what we're talking about right now. So Kiljadi now looking to push back this Sipahi. But behind this, sort of, he's going Castle Age, baby. Let's take a look at the income. See how far ahead they are at the moment. You can see Kiljadi sitting at about 2k resources compared to sort of who's barely cracking that 1600 mark. Now, okay. This is what the Ottomans are all about. I love this. And I feel like this is where their power spike comes from. Because, you know, what I find really strange, not strange about the Ottomans, but I guess you could say strange, is the snowball never really gets any smaller. Like, it's constantly rolling down the hill, and it's always getting bigger. Because these military schools are just giving you free units. So you've got the 2 military schools, you've got the MIA, you're about to have a 3rd military school thrown down any second here. Where is it? Show it to me. It's got to be somewhere. But we don't see it. We've got a counterattack. In fact, attacks all over this map. A little bit of a trade out. 1 villager for 1 villager for the moment. And sort of able to take out a horseman, no, a camel on the retreat. But we'll check back in with the base of sort of. I'm expecting to see military schools thrown down immediately here. He should be looking to pick up his military campus Vizier Point upgrade. Another thing to note is sort of is normally pretty good when it comes to collecting relics. So don't be surprised if we see him look to throw down a monastery pretty quickly here. But you can see that there's a large presence in his base. So he might be thinking about doing something else. We're right on board with sort of as he looks to try and defend. And look at the number of horsemen that are out right now. There's a part of me that thinks, okay, we just got to go into spears here, but then you're dealing with camels, so maybe knights is the right call. You know, which direction do you go? And you can see sort of here a little bit, I wouldn't say confused by any means, but still not really focused on one thing. And still looking towards that front side. Villagers might get caught out of position here. One of them going to go down. Second one might be losing its life, but manages to escape through. Archer numbers starting to build up here. I'm not sure exactly why we're heading into archers, I guess to deal with the camels. But we can see that the imams are now out, and they have picked up those relics. So he's gone from his first vizier point, which was Anatolian Hills, into the second vizier point, which are the imams. So not looking to go to military campus just yet. Still just sitting on those 2 military schools for the moment. Hasn't justified adding in the 3rd one, let alone the 4th one with military campus. So it does make sense that he delays this. But Relic up towards this top side. Might need to throw down the Wallalol just to have a little bit of an advantage. In fact, he's got a fair bit of health on this guy. I think he should be able to survive this. He goes for it. Is he going to be able to stick it? Doesn't manage to get it down. Archers on the back line. Looking like they're going to get eaten alive by the horsemen. The numbers here from Kiljadi are overwhelming. Sort of needs a response, but he's got absolutely nothing here. What do you even go into? As I said, like, you can go into spears, but the camels are going to wreck you. I feel like it's got to be knights. Men-at-arms could also potentially work, but then you're still just going to get kited by the camels or by the horsemen. It's got to be knights at this point. But now, underneath the town center, it's just an absolute field day for Kiljadi here. A little bit of a counterattack towards the middle. No, it's not really a counterattack. It's just a couple of Sparky just chilling out. Next vizier points in. He can't go into Janissaries. It's going to be the meta that he goes for. This guy's getting all the tier 1s. He is playing Pokemon right now with his tier 1 vizier points. Interesting that he goes for the meta. I guess he's just looking for something right now to keep himself alive. Villagers in trouble. Horsemen going to be able to try and do some stabby, but the Sipahi are here. These guys have got a fair bit of damage on them as well, so he should be fine. Mangonel's finally out as well. Does get a shot off the top rope. And now more horsemen coming through. He's got to be careful not to lose this, but to be honest, it doesn't really make that much of a difference at the moment. I mean, there are camels out on the field, so it's probably worthwhile. Another relic gets dropped on the ground. Wallalol unsuccessful. Kiljadi able to take it out. Definitely been a little bit late on hitting those Wallalols so far, sort of has. And now we see that extra little bit. What are we on? We're on melee armor here for these units. Sipahi coming forward. You've got to be careful not to lose the meta in this battle, though. He's got a second meta out, though, so he's made 2. So even if he does lose the first, he's still going to have that second one to back him up. And now villager count starting to go really in favor of Kiljadi. Kiljadi up 22 villagers here. And let's check in with the base building here of sort of. He's got the landmark in. He's got the 2 military schools in. Plenty of production around it. And a mill, but obviously this will get deleted in due course. And now that next mill... No, it's a mosque. How many mosques have we got? I thought we already had a mosque. Didn't we already have... Or was he just bringing relics back just to keep them? Am I blind? Do I not see? He had 2 relics in here, right? There's the third one. It still says he's got 0 relics. So there's the first relic. There's the second. It's only the 2 relics. And there's still 3 out on the map. So I might be a little bit drunk at the moment. Military wing now coming through, though, for Kiljardi on that top side. We'll be looking to go into even more camels. I'm loving this mobility that he's playing right now. Village difference is significant here. Beginning to move into phalanx as well, so maybe thinking about adding in 5, 6, 7 barracks, as we often see those Abbasid players do once they reach the castle age. So could be looking to really begin the push in there. There are the barracks, so 2 barracks for the moment. We don't see anything else at the moment, just the stables coming through. Blacksmith is also down on the backside. He's picked up all 4 tier 1 upgrades for himself. Let's check in with every other upgrade. So he's got all the eco upgrades. Obviously has the wheelbarrow, picked that up nice and early. On the other side, sort of, has got everything except for his mining and a couple of the blacksmith upgrades. But we now start to see Janissaries coming out. Okay, that's not something I considered. I did not consider that the Janissary would even be a possibility here. Now, the Janissary used to get bonus damage dealt to it by ranged units. So you can see it receives 50% ranged damage, which means that the camel archer does 12 damage, or 13 damage, so it's doing an extra 50% damage on top of that. But I guess they kind of counter each other in the sense that the Janissary does extra damage against cavalry, and that's, of course, what the... I mean, it says light-ranged cavalry, comma, camel, so I'm going to assume that it does that extra damage versus them, but I still haven't confirmed it, but over on the other side of the map, sort of looks to try and find a way back into this game, just through good old-fashioned raiding tactics. At the same time, the units for his opponent do look to come back and defend here, but he's getting some pretty good kills. Sipahi demonstrating why they are supreme raiders now. These units, you know, we used to laugh at the Sipahi as they would pop their fortitude and try and get some damage on, but now we don't laugh anymore. Decent job there on evening up that villager count. Still 20 behind, though. 37 idols at the moment for Kiljardi. He finally reaches the castle age and begins to throw down the farms. Now, remember, with the eco wing, it does reduce the cost of your farms down to 56 compared to the original cost of 75. So always something to consider. And look at these idols up towards the top side. 29 idols. No, sorry, 22 idols towards that top side. Walls starting to come up as well. Relics are going to start sitting in the mosque. You can see he's got the imams already queued out towards his position. He must have lost his imams during the great battle on the front. But now sort of only sitting on the 4 Janissaries for the moment. Keep in mind these Janissaries are very gold heavy on their cost. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it depends, but I don't really see Janissaries used a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see them buffed up in some other way. Maybe reducing the gold cost from 100 down to 90 or something like that. You know, we do often see those small little balance changes, like the Palace Guard going from 20 gold to 25 gold. It's the small things. Boar. Oh, he tries to pull the boar, but not going to be able to find it. Manages to tag it in the end. Veterancy comes through on the horsemen, so these guys are... the boar's having a party. The boar's having a party. They're able to get him out of there. Keep in mind he's got the movement speed as well that's going to be buffing up, or at least they should have the movement speed that's buffing up. Yeah, 2.01. I don't know why it's not showing, but there's quite a bit of movement speed there. You're not going to be able to catch those guys unless they want you to. Let's check in with the military schools. We've got 3 military schools down now. I expect to see a 4th one thrown down any second here, as another vizier point did just come through. He's got the resources for it, so I would expect it if he'd gone into it, but maybe he didn't go into it. Maybe he went into something else. Janissary's numbers up to 7 now. Mangonel coming out. He's got the double Mangonel here. Spring on emplacement on the outpost. Janissary's holding on for dear life. Mango shot. Falls short. We're checking back in on the base here. Still looking for that 4th military school. I guess he just doesn't go into it. Does he go into trade bags or something? 3rd TC on the front getting thrown down for sort of. Not something I expected to see at 19 minutes into the game. You don't expect to see TCs thrown down this late. Just simply because, like, realistically, your enemy's already so far ahead, and it's nice that you're able to kind of keep a steady pace and stay up with them, but you're 30 vils behind at this point, right? Like, if there was a time to add this TC, it was a little bit earlier. But I think, as the Ottomans, though, it's reasonable going for this 2nd TC. I think the opening here from sort of has been immaculate, but I do question the timing on that 3rd TC. It just feels a little bit too late. Large cavalry mass really starting to take over, and we can see the power of cavalry on this map. It feels like cavalry is very, very good here. Just being mobile allows you to get in behind those enemy lines and also come back and defend in time from the counterattacks if they do happen. And now that split. Sipahi Group 1, Sipahi Group 2. Keep going to be thrown down back here. It's going to come up right on time. Look at this. Kiljadi going to be very, very thankful. Only loses the one villager. Loses a second villager as well. Camel Riders now coming out as well. Down towards the south side. We've got the palisade wall that's going to be under attack. Up towards the north. Those Sipahi just doing loops. More raids coming through. Sort of is starting to raid like an absolute madman. Look at this Sipahi. So many Sipahi out right now. He's got 4 different raiding groups out on this map, taking advantage of the stealth forest. This guy is raiding like crazy right now. Outpost also going to be coming up to provide that line of sight. Still under attack on the south side. You know, we just talked about the 3rd TC coming up. Kiljadi says, no, sir. You get 2 TCs and that's it. You will have no more. You will have no less. Wallalol not going to go off here in the corner either. Unfortunately, gets taken out before any real response can be issued. There are still units standing by. I'm curious why he doesn't look for a trap here. He's definitely got the forces to do it. The 13 Janissaries in particular could be very potent. And now, on that top side, he continues looking, looming. Have we picked up agriculture just yet? Let's double check and see. We have indeed picked up agriculture. A little bit of a quick wall. He tries to get the block in. Not going to be able to find it. And now at the same time, that counterattack on the bottom side, a little bit of a mistake here. Not the right thing for Kiljadi to do. He is throwing away his forces. This is not a good fight for him. He's looking to try and dish out the damage on the back line towards those Janissaries, but the numbers are really starting to build. He's up to 17 Janissaries. Just eats the army alive, and a really curious decision from Kiljadi to fight that. It just didn't seem like the right thing. And we knew he was paying attention, right? Like, you could see he was focusing down the Janissaries, but it just felt like a really bad decision. That's a great fight for Sort of right there. And that gives him a lot of opportunities. So I think the best thing he can do right now is go for a push. He could also look for Imp, but I don't think the power from Imp is really going to be that significant, considering you're up against an Abbasid player. They've scaled their economy as well. Like, your real power comes in right now from just pushing and just rallying in more troops. 4th military school now coming down, as well as a siege workshop. So I might be looking to move into Springolds here. Speaking of Springolds, take a look at this. We've got 4 mangoes out, 3 Springolds. Does he already have a siege workshop down? How have you made that much siege already? He's got to have another siege workshop down, right? Surely. Where are you getting all this siege from? That's a lot of siege. I mean, we're 22 minutes into the game, but I didn't expect that you'd have this much out. Surely this... Oh, okay, I am blind. There are 2 siege workshops. I'm like, there's no way this man is making this many siege units. It's just not possible. All right, towards that top side, though, Sort of is looking to find a way back into the game, and you can see the villager numbers. Oh, my lord, has he found a way back into this game. Only 10 villagers the difference now. So we often talk about scaling into the late game. One of the things we fail to talk about is the fact that when you're scaling, you've always got to be making sure you keep those villagers safe. If you don't, well, this is the trouble that you're going to run into. Sort of is catching you. Sort of's got the relic advantage. He's up 2 relics to 0. He's now taking sacred sites, and on top of that, he's got the 4 military schools with the MIA in the rear. This is some incredible base building right now coming out from Sort of. Look at this. All of this is done off a single blacksmith. The madman actually goes for a single... this is beautiful stuff right here. This is absolutely amazing stuff. I got to give this credit where credit is due. It's a single blacksmith that he's going off. We're at 24 minutes right now. He's only just built his 2nd blacksmith because he wants to throw down 5 barracks off it. Look at that. A single blacksmith. That is ludicrous. That is insanity. That is... amazing Ottoman base builder right there. If there has ever been a textbook example of how to build an Ottoman base, that is it. And now we start to see those spears moving forward. Janissaries here, keep in mind, they've got access to those Age 3 hand cannoneers. Not as potent as the hand cannoneer themselves, but still pretty damn strong. It's like a crossbow, but also gets damage, extra damage against all cavalry. Really good unit. And he's going for a... This is actually a combination that I theorized a really long time ago. And it's interesting to see that it's actually coming out, because we never really saw it. Janissaries together with archers and Sipahi. Essentially, this goes really well because you only need gold for the Sipahi, or for the Janissaries, so you can focus your gold efforts on that. But now big attacks coming out right here. Sipahi going to be able to make sure that the Janissary are relatively safe as well from any kind of archer mass. And now that build-up still happening right behind this. Kiljadi going to be looking to throw down a couple more Springolds. I tell you what, all of those units that he lost on the other side of the map might have been a nice help right now as his enemy continues to push in towards the base. Kiljardi under pressure. Springalds firing off towards that back line. If he doesn't get these Springalds up, he's going to be in trouble, and he does indeed lose them. At the same time, Mangonel's firing off. He just says, I gotta send it right now. Send it. And he sends it onto a single Mangonel. And now that gives Kiljardi a huge disadvantage. Sort of with a massive advantage in this position up against his enemy. Just able to sit inside the base. Realistically, Kiljardi might need to look for an imp here, but he's got no access to gold. This could be terrible for him. And we can see that just the struggle is really happening. The Janissary is just holding the line right now. The Ottoman Janissary, the hero of the day. Protected him early. Took a really good trade. Is this unit underrated? Is this... You know, we were talking about buffing this unit. Maybe this is one of the most underrated units in Age of Empires 4. Because he's just coming through, he's just mowing down all of the units. Look at the numbers building up now. He's up to 26, still spamming them out. Keep in mind, he's not trading or anything. This is just, he's purely on gold right here. And now Kiljardi, definitely looking a little bit dead here. Really struggling. Couple units coming through on the backside. How does Kiljardi get back into this? 4 military against 60. He's got the villages, though. That's what matters. The main threat is the landmark loss. That's the main threat for me. So I think if Kiljardi somehow finds ways to take these out, whether that be through villages, through Springalds, there is an option for him. But even then, it's going to be so difficult, and you can see him looking to remass on this top side now. What do we got? We got a Janissary going towards that top side. Walls coming up through the middle. So these walls were just a couple of minutes too late. And now, in the center of the base. We're just camping. We're spawn camping at this point. Put your legs up, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get your camping gear out. Gets denied on the south position. But towards the east, there's more raiders out here. He's still got good villager numbers, though. So the game's not over until the fat lady sings. Let's check in over with Sword Off and see how he's doing. And you can see he's maxed out 200 out of 200, which means Imperial is going to be coming through shortly. At the same time on the back line, he continues to expand out. Only the 2 relics. Still hasn't picked up that 3rd relic, let alone the 4th and the 5th one just yet. And a forward keep comes in. Horseman numbers are building, though. Keep that in mind. At the same time, this is what I'm talking about. The production back here. You've got plenty of villages. You didn't lose villages here. All you're losing are buildings. So it's not a huge thing right now. This is still a game. We are still on right now. Even though there's 2,000 score difference between these two, we're still gaming at this point, I can assure you. Production numbers looking good. Now, what unit composition does he go, though? Janissaries and Mangonels is a very difficult combo to deal with. I feel like you have to go into Springalds. I'm almost tempted to say, like, you've got to go Springalds and, like, 1 or 2 Mangos and then just a whole bunch of spears. I feel like that might be the way back into this. And he's got the option to, like, with regard to... He doesn't have improved siege engineering. He's just got the Abbasid ability to build up that siege. Still, we don't see that. The main issue he was having before was gold. But it looks like he's managed to secure gold in the north. We also see that he's sneaking a little bit of gold in the south as well. He's also got access to another large gold vein over here on the right-hand side. So sort of probably could have been doing a little bit better with regard to his control of resources. But this push has been dominant. And the Janissaries in particular are the heroes of the day, by far. Like, this is just... This is an impressive sight to behold right now. Get off my screen, Sacred Site Capture. This is just... This is like an impenetrable position. Back towards the main base. A counterattack's happening. Now, Swordov's up 13 villages at this point. Or 12 villages now. But this will distract him slightly. But it's really not going to take away from this fact back here. There's the Springalds moving up. He needs a Mango to protect the Springalds from the Janissaries. Springalds also just going to be coming out from his opponent. And he gets the shot off before. How is he able to shoot that fast? He's not Imperial Age. He just had the line of sight. He had the heads up. He just knew. So he goes for the trade. But remember, you got to have the better numbers on those trades. Otherwise, you're going to be left with nothing. So, not even a 1-for-1 there. Making sure he's paying attention. Counterattack on the other side of the map. Seagate Castle gets thrown down. Just going to throw it down in the middle. Right where this stone wall wanted to go. You'll never stonewall me. That's what he says. Little does he know he's actively getting stonewalled. And I'm not talking in the metaphorical sense. Metaphorical? What's the term that you'd want to use in that? I'm talking in the literal sense. He's not getting stonewalled. Not today. Only 13 vills. It's going to take time. It's going to take time to get up. We'll sort of slowly gravitates towards the landmarks, which was sort of my target from the very beginning. Like, you've done a great job over here. I think the problem that you've got is that if you do go for the landmarks, you give your time, or you give your enemy time to build up that mass. And that's what you want to restrict. So he comes in, he hits all of the infrastructure, and now he's slowly taking out that TC. There's plenty of health on this House of Wisdom, but the problem is once it gets low enough, like once you're talking about 6k, 5k, something around that mark, your enemy just commits to killing the House of Wisdom, and there's not a lot you can do. But I think sort of now kind of realized, he says, actually, I think we can just go for it. Imperial Age comes through. Expect to see Roller Shutter triggers immediately in queue. There it is. Expect to see elite Janissaries coming through as well here. We do see Veteran Spearmen coming in. He's got the resources for elite Jans. Let's see if he goes for it. Springald's moving up. Still doesn't have the numbers. A beautiful micro coming out from Sort of. It's a 2-for-1 opening. And now takes out a third one. 1-for-1. As long as he goes even on this, there's no way for him to deal with the Mangonels. And if he can't deal with the Mangonels, this infantry mass gets eaten alive. And he knows that he's got to fight right now. He's down to 3k health on the House of Wisdom. I think this might be a good game. He's got no way to deal with it. Didn't go heavy enough on the Springalds. Lost out a lot of them. And as a result, that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Kiljardy, a nice attempt, but unfortunately, a little bit too slow in that response in the end. A good game is happening. Fellas, make sure you check out both of these players. I'll leave links in the description to where you can watch Sort of, to where you can watch Kiljardy. And of course, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.